spawning from the Jacksonville Jaguars' interest in the former Heisman Trophy winner. While the situation is undeniably unique, with a 33-year-old attempting to transition from quarterback to tight end after an extended football layoff, I think the furor over Urban Meyer kicking the tires on one of his most decorated former players is over the top. The man behind those words, Fox Sports NFL analyst Bucky Brooks, joins us. But Acho, let's start with you. You agree with Bucky that the Tim Tebow outrage is over the top?
What I don't agree with is this, Bucky Brooks. You always throw one word in your article to make us struggle, to test our intellect. Furor? Furor? What does that even mean, Bucky? He did that for you, Sal. He was like, Sal gonna have to read this one. Columbia gonna have to read this one. I said, well, I had to read the prompt. Like, furor? I'm like, did he mean fear? Anyway, Bucky, I'm done with you. With that being said, the outrage that Tim Tebow is getting is undeserved. The outrage that the Jaguars are getting is fully merited and fully deserved. Tim Tebow don't get, he deserves no indictment for working hard, for staying in shape, for being granted an opportunity, for knowing a head coach. I'm not mad at him for that. Not mad at Tim Tebow for that at all.
Okay.
But I am frustrated with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the reason I'm frustrated with the Jaguars is because I like to keep my takes even across the board. What do I mean? All offseason, we sat there and complained about the lack of opportunities for minority head coaches because nepotism and cronyism, hiring your friends and hiring your family, is causing black coaches opportunities because these white general managers and the white owners, remember the majority of general managers and owners are white, are hiring their friends. And we were all up in arms about that. So if we gonna be up in arms about the fact that head coaches and assistant coaches and general managers aren't getting opportunities due to nepotism, due to hiring of friends and hiring a family, then how am I going to bat my eye when Tim Tebow is getting a job when there are only 90? Tim Tebow is getting a job exclusively because he knows the head coach very well. If I didn't raise an issue with the other issue, then I wouldn't raise an issue with this one. But the fact of the matter is, Tim Tebow is not getting that position because he is talented enough. The last time Tim Tebow was in the NFL was with me. In 2015 on the Philadelphia Eagles. I have been in media for 5 years now. That is the last time Tebow was in the league. Tim Tebow did not make the team at quarterback. Tim Tebow has never played tight end a day in his life. There are only 90 jobs. This might not mean anything to a second-round pick like Marcellus or a second-round pick like Bucky Brooks. But to the dudes that were sixth-round picks like myself, and you are scratching and clawing to make the roster, you are that 89th, that 90th, that 87th person, then it does matter. Because you done spent your whole life preparing for an opportunity, and it's going to go to a guy that's never, ever played the position. I don't care personally because I'm Gucci. I'm sitting on this desk right now, but I'm speaking about the overarching principle, which is what are the three categories that you need to be a good tight end? Y'all think about it real quick. Three categories that make somebody a good tight end. Okay, you probably came up with size, hands, speed. Tim Tebow does not have size. He is 6'2". He is my height. He does not have hands. He does not caught any passes in his NFL career, and I don't think in his college career. And he ran a 4.71 in his athletic prime over 10 years ago. He doesn't have size. He doesn't have hands. He doesn't have speed. The best tight ends in the game right now, George Kittle, 6'5", Darren Waller, 6'6", Rob Gronkowski, 6'7", Zach Ertz, 6'4" and some change, Eric Ebron, 6'5". Think of your favorite tight end, probably 6'5" and higher. Then you have Tim Tebow, 6'2". So he's clearly unqualified to play the position outside of knowing someone. And if we are going to be up in arms about other people that are lesser qualified getting opportunities because of who they know, I just have to raise the same issue right here. I understand why he got the job. I'm going to end like this. He'll sell a lot of tickets. I get that. One of the greatest college football players of all time. I get that. He was a beast at Florida. I get that. Jacksonville's in Florida. I get that. I'm not an idiot. I understand why you would want him to sell tickets, but that doesn't undermine the truth of the matter. I'm done.
Okay, Acho, I get your frustration. And I think we all have sat in college with our coaches and they say, look, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yes, sir.
In fact, this weekend, I happened to be looking at TV and I saw maybe a LinkedIn commercial with one Emmanuel Acho where he gave somebody the plug where they got a job because of a connection, because that's what life is about. And so what I'm seeing this is Tim Tebow has the plug. And what he did is he utilized his relationship with Urban Meyer to grant him an opportunity. It's one of the things that we all aspire to do, to have a wealth of contacts that give us opportunities. And then with the opportunity, we take that and carry it over the goal line. And so I'm not upset about it, because when I look up in New York this weekend, Kelvin Benjamin, who hasn't been in the league since 2018, was signed to be a tight end by the New York Giants. Why? Because Dave Gettleman drafted him with the Carolina Panthers. And so it's the hookup. It's the connection. That leads to opportunities. I think about Alden Smith.
Got me feeling like Uzman right here, Bucky Brooks.
For 4 or 5 years. Alden Smith didn't play for 4.5 years. Woo. He gets an opportunity to play for the Dallas Cowboys because of Jim Tom Sula. It's about the relationship. We see it all the time. When you know someone, they can bring you in, and what you do with it is on you. So I don't understand the outrage. This is the most decorated player that ever played for Urban Meyer during his time at Florida. He won a Heisman Trophy. He won a national title with Urban Meyer. He is going to give his guy an opportunity. Now it's on Tim Tebow to make the most of it. It's one spot out of 90 spots on the team. I don't understand the furor over why he.
Bucky got it. Real quick. If Tebow would have come back as a quarterback, I wouldn't have cared.
Really?
Because Tebow has at least shown us at some point in his life he has a proficiency to play the quarterback position. He hasn't shown it to us recently, but he's shown us at some point in life he can play the quarterback position at an incredibly efficient level. What did we say about tight ends' necessities? You got to have size, you got to have speed, you have to have hands. Kelvin Benjamin, who you mentioned, last I checked, he was 6'5", 245. Check on size. Last I checked, he was a first-round pick at wide receiver in 2014. Check on hands. Last I checked, he was, I'm assuming, a 4'5", 4'6" combine guy. I don't have it here in front of me, but he was a first-round pick wide receiver, so he had to have been sub 4'7". So check on speed as it pertains to tight ends. Alden Smith got a job with the Cowboys after being out for 5 years. Last I checked, NFL record, most sacks through the first 2 seasons of a career. If Tebow would have come back at quarterback and Urban Meyer would have said this, Marcellus,
what?
I'm going to use Tebow like I did when I won my first national championship at Florida. We'll get to the goal line. I'll use him for jump passes. I'll use him as a goal line QB. I'll use Trevor Lawrence like I used Chris Leak from the 20s to the 20s. Then I'll bring in Tebow. I would have said, I don't think it'll work, but he's shown us he can play the quarterback position. But Tebow hasn't shown us he can play tight end, Bucky. Kelvin Benjamin has shown us at least he has the characteristics to play tight end. Alden Smith, we know he can play defensive end, outside backer, just about as good as anybody in the world has ever seen before all the problems. So that is where there is a disconnect, Bucky. So many people raise hell. Well, what about Kelvin Benjamin? At least Kelvin Benjamin looks like George Kittle. At least he looks like Zach Ertz. At least he looks like Gronkowski. At least he looks the part. Tebow don't even get in the club based on looks alone.
Oh, my God. And looks are deceiving. This take is going to take y'all everywhere, but let's start here. I remember being a San Diego Charger. You know me, I was that dude at the time. And then they lined up somebody against me who I was like, hey, what's your name, homeboy? I never heard of you. He was like, Antonio. Antonio who? Gates. Oh, okay. Where'd you go to school? Kent State. Okay. You played tight end? I ain't hear about you. No, I ain't even play football. What? You didn't play football? You didn't even play football. You were a basketball player. Next thing I know, you're in the Hall of Fame. Acho, looks are deceiving. We know how you can learn and adapt in the NFL. Tim Tebow, let me get this straight. You are upset at him for coming.
Not him. The Jags.
Or the Jags.
Yes, sir.
For this guy accepting a different position, putting his hat in hand and saying, whatever you got, I will go out there and perform. And this is just kicking the tires. We're not saying he's guaranteed to be on the roster. We'll figure this out. Tim Tebow did play tight end before. People don't watch all of the football games like I do. For the Jets, he was an H-back. They threw a pass at him, hit him in the head, and he realized, you know what? Next time I'm in the NFL, I am going to catch that ball. All right, here it is. This is Tim Tebow. Hey, call it what you want. My first play in the NFL, I think I got pancakes. Turned out I became an all-pro. Things can change. Here's the thing about Tim Tebow. You got to love what he's going to offer to this organization. It's a guy who's going to come at least, at minimum, help build a winning culture. At minimum, help box office. How many times they going to tarp off the 300 section with Jackson DeVille? I'm getting